What's good, YouTube? GamerZero coming at you with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel video with our new budget-friendly Earth Machine, or budget and beginner-friendly, I should say, Earth Machine deck profile with the new Infinitrack support that came out, which I'm going to show you right now. Let's go ahead and get right into this deck profile, and I also have some replays to show you. So this is the deck profile here. You can take a screenshot if you want to use this deck. Now this deck is very budget friendly. Reason I say is you can see the entire main deck is mostly composed of rares and normals. If you can really see that, of course there are some URs, but those URs are pretty much cards you're going to be using in every deck for the most part. Like about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 12 cards in this deck are cards you're going to be using in almost every deck. The other couple, or actually 13, because I forgot about Harpy's Feather Duster. There's like 3 URs in here that are specific to this deck right here. But like I said, this deck is very affordable for a beginner player. And even if you don't have some of these staple cards, this deck will help you grind up to get these cards. So here's let's go ahead and get into the profile. We have 3 Max C, we have 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Infinite Permanents, and 3 Call by the Grave for beginner player. Oh, and also 1 Crossout Designator and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. For beginner players, you're gonna want to craft these cards and put them into your decks because these cards here are essentially called staple cards, and staple cards are cards that you want to have in your deck to make it work and be able to get over things. And you're not going to be using Harpy's Feather Duster all the time. You're not going to be using Crossout Designator all the time, but definitely Infinite Permanence, Called by the Grave, Maxi, and Ash Blossom. Those are the most important ones. Those like what 11 cards are the most important ones. So let's go ahead and get into the Infinitrack stuff. We have 3 Infinitrack Harvester, which is essentially your searcher, and he allows you to search when it's normal or spell summon. You can add 1 Infinitrack monster from your deck to your hand, and then he also has an ability where he can target 1 other machine monster that you control, and the levels of both that monster and this card become the combined original levels of those 2 monsters. So let's say you have this level 2, right? He's level 2, and then let's say you target this guy, he's level 7. Then right there, you'll have a level 9, right? Which we do have a level 9 or rank 9 Xyz monster right here. And then also you could, like, if you had a level 8 monster, so 2 plus 8 is 10. We have a swath of level 10 or rank 10 monsters that we could go into. This guy essentially, it says rank 11, but you can overlay him on a rank 10 to make it, right? So this guy is essentially one of your starters, and he's very good. Then we have Machina Gear Frame. Machina Gear Frame is like essentially another starter, but only for the Machina part of your deck. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Machina monster from your deck to your hand, except Gear Frame. Once per turn, you can target 1 machine monster you control, equip this card to that target, or equip this card to summon it. And if the equipped monster that's equipped with this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. So basically, this guy, I've been testing him out. You don't have to run him if you don't want to. But the reason I put him in is because this deck does have a tendency to brick because you have a lot of high level monsters. And if you have a lot of high level monsters, you can't play the game. So Machina Gear Frame is essentially another body. You could possibly replace it with this. But here's the thing with Machina Gear Frame, if you go first, you want to be able to, you can't play this spell card right here. So Machina Gear Frame is going to help mitigate that just a little bit, just 1, because you don't run that many Machina monsters. And like I said, he's the body, and then he also has a cool interaction with this card here, because let's say you somehow get this guy into the graveyard, which you most likely will, and then you bring this guy out and equip him with this. You could actually use that effect of Machina Gear Frame to special summon it from the spell and trap zone if you want to, because Therian King Regulus's effect to negate a card does not need to be equipped to activate that effect. So that's a cool little interaction right there with this dude, but just 1 because like I said, he's not the best Machina searcher, but he is a normal summonable body, and he's good, you know what I mean? But like I said, I've been testing him out. You don't have to run it if you don't want to. That's just what I've been testing out, and it's been working actually very well. One good thing that I like about him is that he baits a lot of things out, like Ash Blossoms and Imperms. And yeah, Maki the Gear Frame is okay. I'll probably keep running them. I'll do some more test plays with them, but so far it's been good. Then we have Ancient Gear Box. If he's added from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except by drawing it, you can add an Earth Machine type monster with 500 attack and or defense from your deck to your hand. You can always use that effect once per turn. So basically, when this guy is searched, he gets another guy, which is going to be this dude, right? Or it's going to be this dude. Those are their only two search options. But this guy's a normal summonable he's a normal summonable, I would say junk synchron kind of, but it's only from your hand. So he allows you to get like two bodies on board. Or this guy, you could, he is a high level, so you can't just bring him out. But this guy right here is essentially your pot of avarice for Earth Machine monsters, right? And then, yeah, this guy replenishes your hand. And also, it's a good target for this guy here, because this guy allows you to search an Ancient Gear monster. So you search your target, and then his effect will activate, and then you can search one of those two guys out, this guy or this guy. And then this guy, like I said, this guy, when he's normal or special summon, you can special summon an Earth Machine monster from your hand defense mode, except Anchor Drill. And then he also has that same effect where he could take himself and another monster and add their levels together, and then both monsters become that level. So, for this guy, it'd be good if you go like a 4+5, and you have a bunch of level 5 monsters to go into. So, yeah, that's a 9. 4+5 is 9. And then you're going to be making your Earth Slicer. So, yeah. Then we have Trencher. Trencher basically has that same. He has the level 5 Infinitrack monsters have this ability where they contribute to Earth Machine and special summon themselves from your hand in defense mode. And all these monsters here have that same, except this one. All these right here have that same effect. And then this guy also has an ability where he could banish himself from the graveyard, and then he could target a level 5 or lower Infinitrack monster in your grave and special summon it in defense mode. So this guy is kind of like a recursion, but you only want to run one, especially now that we have Road Roller. One is okay. I used to run two, but now that we have Road Roller, we're only running one. And you could always get this guy back because this deck has a lot of recyclability. Then we have Tunneler. Like I said, he has that same effect to special summon himself by tributing an Earth monster. And this guy can target 5 Earth Machine monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and draw 2 cards by banishing from your grave. So that's amazing. You only need one. Like I said, you could always recycle it, get it back, and this guy's great. Then we have the 3 of. You're going to want 3 of this guy. Infinitrack Brutal Dozer. He has that same effect where you can tribute to special them from your hand. Then, if this card is special summoned from the hand, you can special summon one Infinitrack monster from your deck in defense position, except Brutal Dozer, but negate its effects. And then it also locks you into only summoning Earth Machine monsters for the rest of the turn. But that's not a problem because most of your extra deck, especially the ones that you want to go into, are all Earth Machines, including the Machinas and including the Train package. So, yeah, you're good on that. And this guy is essentially going to get all your plays rolling. So that's what you want. You want 3 of him, and you want to see him in your opening hand. Then we have the new card, Infinitrack Road Roller. He does not have that ability to tribute to special summon himself from your hand, tribute to Earth Machine, but he does have a kind of special summon ability from your hand. So it says, if an Earth Machine monster is tributed or banished face up, you can special summon this card from the graveyard if it was there when the monster was tributed or banished, or hand even if not, but banish it when it leaves the field. So basically what that means is if one of your guys is tributed or banished, you can just special summon them from your hand or graveyard. But the thing is, the thing that was banished has to stay there, right? But that's essentially what it means. And you can special summon this guy in attack or defense mode. That's another thing about this guy. And he does have 2100 attack and defense. So an Xyz monster whose original type is machine and has this card as material gains this effect. Face-up monster your opponent controls are changed to defense position. Also, they lose 1000 defense. So, yeah, this guy, if you have an Xyz monster with this guy's material on the field, all your opponent's monsters, when they're brought out, are going to defense mode. And it's hilarious most of the time. Like, unfortunately, this card doesn't affect Link monsters, but that's okay. Because this guy can mess up a lot of different strategies. And all you need is one, though. One is fine. And as I also said about the budget friendly aspect of this deck, as you can see, the entire Infinitrack lineup is all normals and rares. So this is a very accessible deck if you're a beginner player and you want to get into the game and have like a nice little competitive deck for cheap. Here we go. Then we have Machina Fortress. You do need the one. This guy you can discard. You can discard machine monsters whose total level equal 8 or more. That spell summon this card from your hand or graveyard. And he also has an ability that if he's destroyed by battle instead of the graveyard, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. And then he also has an effect to where if your opponent targets him with a monster effect, you can look at your opponent's hand and discard a card from their hand. So that's great. You know what I mean? And like I said, this guy is a very good extender in the deck. He has the ability to, you know, when he's in your hand, let's say you have this guy and like any level 5 or lower monster, you could discard himself for his own cost and then the other guy, and then you can special summon him from your graveyard. So that's what makes him uh a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to waste a bunch of machine monsters to special summon him, and like I said, that makes him a great extender. And you do have a large variety of high level monsters if you wanted to go that route too, to just discard that high level monster and just bring him right out from your graveyard or even your hand if you wanted to do it that way as well. Then we have Therian King Regulus. This guy is going to be your Omni Negate. Omni Negate meaning you know, you can negate spell, trap, monster effect. um, Only thing you won't be able to stop is counter traps, but that's okay. And it only negates, not destroys. So it says here you can target one Therian monster, one machine monster graveyard, which is pretty much your whole deck. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, equip that monster to this card. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can send one Therian monster from your hand to the or face up field to the graveyard to negate that effect. So yeah, he's your Omni Negate, and he is searchable since he is an Earth machine. That's why you want to run one. Like you don't necessarily have to run this guy if you feel he's too expensive, but all you really need is one. You don't need more than that. You know what I mean? Because he is searchable. So then we're going on to the next card. We have Machina Metal Cruncher. If you could, so basically he has an effect where if you don't have any face-up cards, you can normal summon him without tributing because he's a level 9. You would normally have to tribute. But the thing is, his attack becomes 1800. And then he basically has the ability to reveal 3 Earth Machine monsters from your deck, and then your opponent randomly selects one and adds it to your hand, and then you shuffle them back, the other ones back. So this guy is also a starter piece to this deck. So as you can see here, we already have 3 Infinitrack Harvester, we have a Machina Gear Frame, and we have 3 Machina Metal Cruncher. These guys, that's about 7 starters right there, and then that's not even counting our spell cards. So that's 7 starters right there. And this guy, you don't have to do 3 different names. You can actually do 3 of the same card if you have 3 of the same card, which usually I go for Infinitrack Brutal Dozer, all of your 3, and then my opponent is essentially forced to give me one, and then you contribute it for Brutal Dozer, and then continue your plays from there. And another thing is, if they do end up negating this guy with, like, let's say infinite permanence, or even if you, because there is cards that allow you to negate your own monster effects in this deck, like Clifford Genius, this Link monster here, and basically you'll have a 28 beat stick, right? Ash Blossom won't affect that because Ash Blossom just negates the effect of adding. It doesn't negate the whole entire card. But if they use like infinite permanence or anything that negates the entire card, essentially the entire monster card, you'll have a 28 beat stick just chilling. So that's another good thing that I do like about Machina Metal Cruncher. Then we've got our train engine here. We have Heavy Freight Train Derrick Crane and Super Express Bullet Train. Basically, if a machine or Earth machine is summoned, you can bring him out from your hand, and it's a normal or special summoned, right? And then, but its original attack becomes halved, and then he has another effect that if he's detached as an Xyz material, while he's on an Xyz monster to activate that monster's effect, you can pop a card or destroy a card your opponent controls. So that's pretty good. And another thing is he also has that clause, so like, you know, if you negate his effect on the field, then you'll have a 28 beat stick, you know what I mean, level 10. But really, you just use him for the utility of bringing. He's easy to bring out in this deck, and then you have the ability to make your rank 10s. And then Super Express Bullet Train, he has an ability to where if you have at least one Earth machine on the field, you can just special summon them from your hand. Then he has another ability that during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can target a machine monster graveyard, except the Bullet Train, and add it to your hand. So he can get a guy back. And this guy, he can attack, but you have to send two other cards you control to the graveyard if you want to attack with him. So that part's not that great, but really we just use him to for his ease of summoning. He can summon himself very easily, and you can bring out your rank 10s pretty easily. And then this is right here, Maki the Citadel is your big bad boss monster. Uh, he can't be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by card effect, which we do have ways to bring him out that way. And you could also summon him with his own effect as well. And he has a quick effect. Target one machine monster you control, destroy that machine monster, and all monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. So it's a quick effect Dark Hole, essentially. But a quick effect Regeki, because it's only for your opponent's monsters. So yeah, and he can target himself with that effect too, so you can destroy all monsters with 3,000 or lower attack. And then it says here, if a face-up Earth machine monster you control, except Machina Citadel, is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can just bring him out for free. So yeah, he's very easy to bring out, very easy to use, and you just need one. One is fine. You don't need more than one, because even if this guy gets banished, you have a way to recycle it, and you also have a way to recycle him back into the deck from the graveyard if you wanted to do that. But most of the time, you want to keep him in there, right? So then we're moving on to the spell cards. We have Heartbeat's Feather Duster, which is essentially like Regeki, but for all your opponent's spell and traps. You just destroy all your opponent's spell and traps. Then we have Machina Redeployment, two of them. I felt like three was too much for this deck, but two is the right number. So you can discard a card and add two Machina monsters with different names, or you could discard a Machina card and add two Machina cards with different names. So, and you can only use one of this per turn, and this is a great search card to get your engine started, essentially, right? Then we have Heavy Forward, which is another starter card. When this card is activated, you can add one Infinitrack monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can target one machine Xyz monster you control, then activate one of these effects. So you can either change its battle position, or you can attach Heavy Forward to it as an Xyz material. And you can only activate one Heavy Forward per turn, unfortunately. But this is a great card because it does two things in one. You can search, and then you can do some other things with it as well. So this card's amazing, and for it being only a normal rarity card, that's insane, right? Then we have, I already explained, Called by the Grave. We have two Urgent Schedule. This is one of the best starter cards of your deck because, like I said, this is a going second deck. So this card right here allows you to, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, so if they at least have one monster and you have none, they control more monsters than you. So you can special summon one level 4 or lower and one level 5 or higher Earth machine monsters from your deck in defense position, but their effects are negated. You cannot declare attacks this turn. The turn you activate this card, except with machines. So this card essentially gets two guys out for free. Then you can start your links, start your Xyzes, whatever you want. And if this set card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one level 10 machine monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So if this happens to be face down, they blow it up, you can search out one of your train guys, like your train package guys. So, but usually you just want to use this for your special summoning your dudes, right? Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention about Machina Citadel is that he's also level 10, so he also counts as the train package, right? Anyway, because he can overlay for the rank 10s. Alright, and then we have, I already explained these and this, and then the last trap in our deck besides Infinite Permanence is Machina Overdrive. This card is amazing right here. Target one machine monster you control, special summon one Machina monster with a different name from your hand or deck, and if you do, destroy that targeted monster. Right, so this guy allows you access to your entire Machina engine, this guy, and Gearframe, and even Fortress, but usually you're going to be going for this guy. I also go for this guy sometimes too, but really I go for Citadel most of the time, right? And then it also has an ability to where you can banish this card from your graveyard, target three of your machine monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them in a deck and draw one card. So you can do a combination of graveyard and banished, or just graveyard with this card, right? And put them back and then draw a card. So this is one of the recycling cards I was telling you about. And then of course you have your Infinitrack Tunneler. So essentially you could do this a good amount of times with the whole recycle loop and get all your stuff back, keep going, keep your plays going. I like to call this deck, the little recycle loop here, is I like to call it RRR. Recycle, reuse, replenish, right? That's the 3 R's in this deck. All right, so now that's it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. We have Infinitrack Riverstormer. Most of these Infinitrack monsters have the same ability to where when it destroys a monster by battle, you can attach that monster to this card as material. All 3 of these have that. These 3 guys. And then this one, essentially, you could detach. And they also have the ability that you could tribute 1 Machine Link monster and special summon the Xyz monster in your graveyard in defense position. So if you had a Link monster, a Machine Link, you could tribute it and special summon, you know, whichever one you activated. So yeah, these guys have that ability, and you do want to do that sometimes to essentially get your plays going. And there's some combos with that, and it is good, trust me. So basically, this guy, you could attach a material from this card, and you could take 1 Earth Machine monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. So this guy is your search / setting up your combos if you want to send it to the graveyard too. Then we have Mountain Smasher. I don't really bring this guy out like ever, but he's just there just in case, because this guy he has 3100 defense, and then also you could attach a card and it gains 1000 attack. So, and he is the level 7 target, so, or rank 7 target, so you could take this guy and one of your level 5s if you have nothing else and make this dude, and then you could just have this guy gaining attack and then have a big beat stick. But just 1 is fine, and he's only a rare, so he's easy to craft. Then we have Infinitrack Earth Slicer. You do want the 1, and I pretty much bring this guy out a lot, and he's very good. So he has the ability to where you can detach any number of materials from this card, then target that many cards on the field and destroy them. So if you have, you know, let's say, for example, you have 4 materials on this guy, you can detach all 4 and pop 4 cards. We're usually only going to be popping 2 cards, but that's okay, because he can keep doing it, because remember, he does have that ability to where if he destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can attach it to him as material. And then you know, you could just continually have at least 1 pop or 2 pops, because you also have heavy forward to replenish Xyz materials on your Earth Machine monsters. Xyz monsters, I should say. And then you could just keep popping cards if you need to. And then the other thing is he's 3100, so he kind of mirrors this guy with stats. So yeah, this guy is amazing. You're gonna want the 1, and he's only a super rare. And Riverstorm is also a super rare. So like I said, very accessible engine with a bunch of rares and normals, and then a rare and a super rare. They do have 1 UR here, but you don't even need to run this guy, to be honest. You could run anything else in this slot if you want to. Then we do have our train engine here. We have the Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, 2 level 10 monsters for a rank 10. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, inflict 2000 damage to your opponent. That's all it does. And this guy sets you up for the big OTK play in this deck, right? And then we have Sky Palace Gangaradai. You can detach 1 material from this card, target a card your opponent controls, destroy that target. If you do, inflict 1000 damage, and then this card cannot attack the turn you activate that card. This is one of the guys that's not an Earth Machine, but sometimes you need that utility, and he is in there for that. So, and he is 3400. So yeah, sometimes you just need to pop a card, and if you don't have nothing else, you can make this dude. You don't necessarily need to run this guy, but he is a good utility, right? Then we have Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon, Super Dora, I believe, right? Yes, Super Dora. I do suggest running 1. I don't bring him out all too much, but this card is very good, especially for certain matchups. Like Sky Striker hates this card. Tri Brigade hates this card. Any deck that really focuses on, you know, if they can't get over 3200 or even 4000 defense, this guy makes it very hard for them to, you know, do their thing. Because what ends up happening is, once per turn quick effect, you attach 1 material from this card and target 1 face-up monster on the field. that target is unaffected by card effects except its own. So if you target itself, it's unaffected by everything except itself. So they can't do anything though. So if they can't get over 4,000 or 3,200, they're in a bit of a pickle. And you can replenish these materials on these monsters, so you can just keep doing that. You know what I mean? So it is a good card. And then we have the big one, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Leap. Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon this card by using one rank 10 machine Xyz monster you control as material, right? So you could use any of these guys, these three guys, to make Leap. And then you can attach one material from this card once per turn. It gains 2,000 attack and defense, and that is permanent, the 2,000 attack. Also, for the rest of this turn, you can only declare an attack with this card. During each battle phase, this card can make attacks on monsters up to the number of materials it has plus one. So, yeah, if you get this guy with a lot of materials on it, you'll essentially have two most of the time, especially if you're going for the OTK. So that's three attacks because you have the normal attack that it has, and then the plus two attacks for the Xyz materials. So the combo of the OTK combo with this card is you bring out Gustav Max, detached to do 2,000. Your opponent has 8,000, right? So then that is 6,000, and then this card will be 6,000, and you just go for game right there. You know what I mean? And then we do have a Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, Sky Thunder. Once per turn, if an Xyz monster battle this turn, you can also Xyz summon Divine or this card by using one Xyz monster you control. Transfer its materials to this card. Quick effect: you can detach two materials from this card. Send all other cards from the field to the graveyard. Once per turn, if another card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can attach one card from your hand, deck, or extra deck to this card as material. So the reason we run him is just to get that big board wipe. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can do a lot of board wipe with this guy because you can keep replenishing these materials on him with some of the cards that are in the deck or its own effect, and then you can just keep board wiping your opponent. Quick effect. And yeah, you do want to run one just in case you do need to bring him out, but I mean, you don't necessarily need to have Zeus. You could run whatever you want in this slot if you feel like he's too pricey, because the extra deck is where this deck gets a little bit pricey. You know what I mean? Because you have like 4 URs, but like I said, you don't need to run Zeus, but he's definitely one card I would run. You know what I mean? All right, so that's it for the Xyz monsters. To get into the links, we have two Infinitrack Goliath. Now this guy is amazing in this deck. So basically, he's a link one non-link Infinitrack monster, and if he's sent from the field or the graveyard, you can target one Xyz monster you control and attach this card to that monster's material. And you can only use that effect once per turn. And the Xyz monster whose original type is machine and has this card as material gains this effect. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So one thing I like to do with this guy is those matchups where I bring this guy out and my opponent can't is unaffected. I'll put this guy underneath him as an Xyz material, right? And then now he can't be destroyed by card effects. So not only can you not just blow him up, but now I have an ability to also be like, yeah, he's unaffected too if I want to do that too. So big 4,000. But you can do that with any of your guys. One thing I've been doing is equipping this to this with this. No, not equipping. Having this and Goliath as Xyz material under any of my Infinitrack guys. And so that makes it all my opponent's monsters go to defense, and then they can't destroy this guy by card effects. So you can't Regeki him, and you essentially can't attack him unless you bring out the Link monster. So yeah, that is fun. But this goes for all of your machine Xyz monsters. So you could have them on this if you can't go for the OTK, and just have a big 6,000 beat stick that they can't Dark Hole or Regeki or whatever. And yeah, this is one of the best cards in the deck, because another way you can use this guy is, remember, these Infinitrack monsters do have that ability to where if they're in the grave, you can tribute a machine link and then special summon the monsters of the monster, you know, from your graveyard, right? And then his effect will trigger, and then you can attach the dude as an Xyz material, right? And usually what you want to do is, if this guy's in your graveyard, you'll bring this out, tribute this to bring him out, then attach this to him, and then you get a one material search. So you see that? You see what I mean? Or you get a one material pop, And then you could use like, and since they do come out in defense mode, if you have heavy forward on the field, you can then use heavy forward to switch your monster to attack mode, and then you can actually attack with it. So that is another cool little combo right there. Uh, then we have two Clifford Genius. Clifford Genius basically, this Link Summon card is unaffected by spell, trap effects, and other activated effects of other Link monsters. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on each player's field except this card. Both those cards have their effects negated until the end of this turn. And then it has an ability to where two monsters are special summoned at the same time to zones this card points to. You can add a level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hand. And that doesn't really happen too much in this deck. To be honest, it really never happens. The only way you'd be able to do that is with something like this. But the thing is, you'd have to have this when your opponent has more monsters and then use this urgent schedule. So that last effect doesn't really happen, but really the negating one does. And he is there for that utility. And he is an earth machine too as well. So this guy is a solid link, and he is an earth machine. Then we have double-headed anger knuckle. Cannot be used as link material, and then you can only use one of the following effects of this guy per turn, and only once that turn. So basically, during the main phase, you could tribute, or you can send this one monster on your field, or one monster from your hand, and target a level 10 machine monster your graveyard, spell summon in defense, but its effects are negated. So you could even send himself as well, if you wanted to do that. And then he also has an ability where if this card is in your graveyard, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard and spell summon this card. So he has an ability to bring himself back if you need to. And like I said, this guy is amazing because he allows your rank 10 package to shine through, and you can keep recycling those guys essentially to make all your rank 10 plays, right? Then we have the Ancient Gear Ballista. If it's Link Summon, you could add an Ancient Gear or Gear Town from your deck to your hand, which you only have one Ancient Gear, which is this. And like I said, once he's added, when Box is added, you can either add Anchor Drill or you could add Tunneler, right? Then you can target one spell trap you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy that card you control, and if you do, change that opponent's monster's attack and defense to 0 until the end of this turn. So this does come up, and you can use this card as a part of your OTK with Leeb as well. I do that all the time. I'll use Leeb. I'll use this to make my opponent's monster attack 0, and then I'll bring out Leeb, and then I'll just go for the 6 shot. Because remember, you do this, right? Detach 2,000, minus 8,000 is 6,000, and then you just attack for game. So yeah. Then we have the Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops. You definitely do not need this guy at all. At all. But I like it, so I put it in. But basically, it takes 3 Xyz monsters to make this guy a Link 3 for 4,000. It's unaffected by other monsters' effects. So that's one reason I do like this guy, right? Except those of Xyz monsters. So if your opponent does not have an Xyz deck, this guy is going to be shitting on him, right? And then cannot be destroyed by battle except with an Xyz monster. So once again, your opponent, if they don't have an Xyz deck, this guy shits on them. You can target one Xyz monster in your graveyard and one card your opponent controls. Special summon that monster from your graveyard, and if you do, attach that opponent's card to it as material. Also, for the rest of this turn, any damage your opponent takes is halved. So this guy not only is a big old Link 3, but then he recycles all of your machine Xyz monsters, or any monster, Xyz monster essentially. And it also steals your opponent's cards too, so that's always great. But he's kind of hard to make, so just take that in mind. That's why I said you don't need to have him. You could actually run some other stuff, like in this deck, you do have a lot of access to rank 5s, so you can run the Cyber Dragon Infinity package, which is actually more affordable, to be honest, than Megaclops. So I'll show you the Cyber Dragon package. Let's see here. So all you would need is, where are they? Yeah, all you would need is one of these, and then wherever the hell Infinity's at. Let me just do this. Where's my Infinity? Oh, right here. So you would just need one Infinity and one Nova, and those are, I think you get Nova for free in the beginning of the game, or it does come in a structure deck. Let me check. Yeah, so This guy comes, I think you get him for free in the beginning of the game when you start the game out. So yeah, Nova is very easy to get, and then you just have to craft one UR for Infinity. And the Cyber Dragon Infinity package is great because then you can start negating stuff, and it's an Omni negate too. It is an Omni negate. So that is one good thing about the Cyber Dragon package. But I do like Fortress Megaclops just for, you know, what he does. He's not, like I said, he's definitely not easy to bring out, but when you do get him out, your opponent usually quits the game. So like I said, I do have some replays to show you guys because that is the deck profile. So let's go ahead and get right into these replays here. And these are low rank duels. So, you know, because like I said, this is more for beginner players. You know what I mean? Now, this is an 8-turn duel here. I believe I was going up against an Exodia deck, and this guy was trying to stall out here, essentially. And I'll show you how. So he upstarts to draw, and then he goes with, let me see what this is. He goes with Right Hand Shark, and then he chains Astral Karibo, or he activates Astral Karibo. And then he Ash Bosses my Maxi, unfortunately. But I'm like, whatever, you know, I guess. Because look what this guy ends up doing, right? So then he makes Crooked Cook. So yeah, and then you seen how Astral Karibo pops up there, right? So basically, while you control no other cards on the field, this card is unaffected by other card effects, right? And then with Astral Karibo as an Xyz material, since Crooked Cook is a number, this guy cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects as long as so yeah, you know what? Astral Karibo makes it to where this guy is now can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. And he doesn't have to be an Xyz material. He just has to be used as an Xyz material. So yeah, this is annoying. This is very annoying. But we do find a way to get through this guy. Because I'm like, okay, this guy is essentially gonna just try to stall out and I can't destroy it, which is what this deck's bravado is, you know what I mean? To blow stuff up and get through it. But we do have ways to stop people from stalling out in this deck, and I'll show you exactly how. So I'm gonna start searching out. I'm gonna go into my Brutal Dozer, and I use a Road Roller. I know it's probably not the best option right now, but I use it just in case if this guy starts bringing out other monsters, which he probably won't. And then I start setting up negates with Therian King Regulus. I set up my Omni negate, right? And then I set the overdrive just in case if I need it. So this guy does Pot of Prosperity. I allow it. I'm not really worried about Pot of Prosperity. So I'm thinking in my head right now, and you know what? I knew I should have used this because it would have helped out, but I think I had forgotten. So he Regekis me, but you know, he's going to Regeki me. He is going to do it, especially, I don't think he's going to do it right now, but he's definitely going to do it, I believe, on the following turn when I get my, so yeah, once I drew that, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I was like, I need to get my other guy, and we're going to start our engine. So yeah, we're going to bring out our rank 10, or our level 10, and we're going to bring out Derricrane, and then we're going to overlay into Gustav Max. So Gustav Max is going to allow me to start burning him up. And what I should have did here, was I also should have brought this guy out and then put it on him because I didn't know he had Regeki, but I was like, you know what, it's okay. Because we do have Therian King Regulus. And you know what, I actually do a bit of a misplay here because he activates this to pop his own Regeki. But Therian King Regulus will negate it regardless. You know, there's no reason why it wouldn't be negated. But I didn't know, so I ended up doing this and bringing out this dude, right? But the reason why I also did that is because we have a way to get all the stuff back that we need, right? So that's negated. We still have our stuff. So we go ahead and get rid of Citadel. We bring this dude out. Bring this dude out. Our Pot of Avarice. And we go in a double-headed Anger Knuckle. We'll go ahead and pitch box to get this back to our field. Then we'll go with this dude. Boom. Draw 2. Then we'll detach because I'm like, you know what? I don't need Road Roller anymore. We'll go ahead and go with this. And then that allows me to special summon Derek Crane since Earth Machine was normal or special summon. Boom. Right? Boom. Right? So we're going to start burning them up. And I said 3. And I thought since he detached Astro Karibo, I thought I could do that. Yeah, and I just started going crazy on this dude right here. Just bringing out all type of stuff. We'll go ahead and grab Road Roller back, even though I don't need it. But I did this just in case he sets some spell or traps. I'll have a guy ready to pop some stuff. So yeah, we're going to go ahead, just like I said, he did set a spell and trap. Then I'll go ahead and burn him up again. And then we have Heavy Forward, which allows us to search. And then we're going to activate Heavy Forward to attach to Lieb, or Gustav Max, I should say. And he sees what's happening, and he ends up quitting the game. So, yeah. Like I said, we do have a way to deal with stall decks in this deck, and we can keep replenishing to keep burning if we need to do that. And as you can see, most of these duels are 2 turns, because that's the type of pressure this deck applies on people. I know some people want a more interactive game, but this deck is definitely, it is interactive for you because you can do all types of stuff with this deck. But yeah, your opponent is going to be most likely getting shit on. So this is a Synchron deck build here. And I was thinking he was going to go with some crazy things right now. He does make an okay board. But, yeah, he really doesn't. I don't know why he did all this. I don't even know what he was going for. So he goes Bronze 4. TG. Which allows him to draw cards whenever a monster synchro summoned. Then he goes X-Saber Wayne. He draws a card. And he gets to special summon a guy. And then he goes with Stardust Dragon. So I was like, okay, you know. So I was like, okay, Urge the Schedule. He immediately negates that because that card is amazing and he knows it's amazing. So that allows me to, you know, do whatever I want at this point now. So then we go River Stormer. And yeah, like I said, all his monsters go to defense mode. And then we go Therian King Regulus. And then he just gives up. So this is the new support, guys. This new rare that came out. This is what it does to people. Right? So we got another duel. I believe this is versus Labyrinth. And this guy, I wouldn't say that. I could say this guy got very unlucky. Very unlucky. So, and yeah, I'm like, no, you're not searching. You're not searching, buddy. And then he says 2, and he doesn't have anything else, unfortunately. And it's lucky for me. And you're also going to see. So he does do a Pointer of the Red Lotus, right? And he ends up revealing 2 of the same. So yeah, he drew all 3 of these in one hand. I feel like that's kind of a rigged hand. But, you know, hey, it's better for me, right? And he can take a card from my hand, right? And banish it until the next end phase. So he takes my Anchor Drill. And I'm like, all right, I'll just still Gear Frame. He ends up imperming Gear Frame, which I feel like was the wrong move. He should not have impermed Gear Frame. He should have waited. He should have waited. But I don't know why he did that. So yeah, I go Brutal Dozer. Brutal Dozer goes into the Road Roller. I'll go ahead and go into River Stormer, and then I'll go ahead and search out Therian King Regulus, and this is why I say that guy is amazing. Cause look at this, I get it, and then I would have got a free special. That's what I'm saying. When he's equipped with Machina Gear Frame, I would have got another special. So that would have just helped me play even more stuff. And then he knew I had Called by the Grave in my hand because he saw my hand. So if he would have summoned another Ariana, I would have just Called by the Grave the other one, and he would have been completely screwed. So that's why he gave up. So then we've got this duel. I don't even remember what deck this was, but we'll find out together. Alright, this is actually a pretty good hand right here. We've got plenty of starters, and we do have an Ash Blossom. So we're going up against ninjas. Ning, ning, ning. Ning, 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 ning. So he's doing his plays. I don't even Ash Blossom none of this, because I already know I want to Ash Blossom the Dancing Leaves. If I can Ash Blossom the Dancing Leaves, he's going to be in a very bad predicament. So he goes Saizo. And he flips up Baku. Right? Baku? Yeah. And he sets the book, he sets 2 and ends his turn. And I'm like, he's got to have Dancing Leaves, so I'm just going to wait for Ash Blossom on that. You know what I mean? So I go Machina Redeployment. Since it's safe, he has nothing to stop me, no hand traps. So I'm going to get a 2 search right now, which is amazing. You know what I mean? He special summons Baku face down, which is fine with me. And I go ahead and grab Fortress and Citadel. I go ahead and bring out Harvester, and he tries the Dancing Leaves, and I Ash Blossom, just like I told y'all. Then he ninjutsu Art of Shadow Sealing me, and he ends up getting rid of my guy, but I still get my search, but he doesn't want me to have a body on board, I'm assuming. I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna have a body on board, because I'm gonna discard the said guy, Trencher, right? And Machina Fortress himself. This was the interaction I was telling you all about that you can do with him. And then special summon Fortress, and then I use Trencher's effect. I banish it to special summon the Harvester that I discarded in the beginning of the duel, right? And even though I did get the search, you can still activate the effect to add up levels. And then, like I was saying, you'll go into a 2 + 7 is 9, and then you overlay to your rank 9 for Earth Slicer. And this guy, I'm going to destroy that Tabari and the Dancing Leaves so he can't get it back. And then now I have Earth Slicer, attach, and then I'll set an Imperm, and I'll pass the turn. And he's going to give up right here. And in the real duel, it wasn't this fast. He stood there for a second trying to think about what he was going to do, and then he gave up. So, yeah. All right. Then we have this duel here. I thought this was a Blue Eyes deck, but it wasn't. It was actually a Pendulum deck. I guess this guy just likes Blue Eyes. So he does go first. See, the thing is, I do end up drawing Harpy's Feather Duster. So I did have exactly what I needed to stop this guy in his tracks. I don't know, but like these low-rated duels are crazy. I could definitely tell y'all that. So he pendulums for this dude, and he sets 1, and I'm like, all right, I don't know. Okay, so anyways, so we have everything we need right here to begin our plays. So we Harpies, get all that stuff up out of there. Heavy forward into Road Roller. Then we'll go Harvester into Brutal Dozer. And then we're going to just continue. We're going to win. He's going to quit, but because he sees what's happening. He sees exactly what's happening. So we get Regulus. Then we go Trencher. Bring out Harvester. We'll ditch the train engine, actually. And we go into Earth Slicer. And then we'll use Earth Slicer. And he already knows that I'm going to pop all his stuff, and he quits the game. So, yeah. As you can see, this deck is very strong, especially going second, because you most likely are going to one-shot your opponent one shot, or I wouldn't say one shot, but you're gonna win on the next turn with all the damage you're putting out. So you're outputting, I should say. So here, this guy actually does take the Max C challenge here. This duel was funny because I don't know. So we're going up against Jack Atlas here. We went up against Yusei, and now we're going up against Jack, right? It's a good way to end off the video, right? So we've got Crim. So, you know, I'm not even going to explain what this guy is doing. He's going to special summon his brains out right now. Red Rising Dragon. Yeah, I have everything I need. I don't even know why this guy did all that. So, yeah. He just gave me like the world and then some. So I start off by going urgent schedule. I'll bring out 2 dudes, including my Citadel, right? Then we'll go ahead and bring out Derek Crane. Then we'll go ahead and get Machina Gear Frame, getting out my Metal Cruncher. Then I'll link into Clifford Genius. Now this is what I was talking about the ability to, that he's a very good utility, because Beatles has the effect to where it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. It also has an effect that if he takes damage from an attack involving this card gains attack equal to the damage you took. And I'm like, I need to get over this guy. I have an easy out to it. Clifford Genius. Because it just takes, he's very generic to making this deck, or very easy to make in this deck. It just takes 2 machine monsters to make it, so yeah. So I negate Derek Crane and Beals. Then I go into my Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut, or Gustav Max, I should say, not Juggernaut. So yeah, he's negated. Your effect doesn't matter. And he sees that I'm about to just go into the thing. What I was going to do next was Ancient Gear, the Link. And then I was going to make his Beal 0 attack and then just, you know, attack over it for game. So yeah, that's it, y'all. And for y'all beginner players, definitely consider this deck. It's not, like I said, definitely consider this deck. It's not the best deck, but it is a very good deck. It is very fun. You will get a lot of wins with this deck. Very affordable. And one thing I can say is, like I said, if you go want to take this deck to the higher ranks, you can adjust your strategy. Especially like you could put in, since you're going to be going second, you could put in cards like Dark Ruler No More. You could put in cards like Evenly Matched, and those cards will definitely help you on the ladder, especially versus those decks that can do a lot of like negates and stuff like that. So like I'll show you Dark Ruler No More, Dark Ruler, and Dark Ruler is a UR, unfortunately. Oops, wrong button. So we have this card here. So it negates the effects of all face-up monster your opponent currently controls, till the end of this turn. Also for the rest of this turn, your opponent takes no damage. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. So this is a great card for going second. And then we also have Evenly Matched, which I do have in this list over here. And this is only a super rare, so this is more affordable. At the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, you can make your opponent banish cards from their field face down, so they control the same number of cards as you do. And if you control more cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So basically, you'll have 1 card, and then your opponent will have to get rid of all of their cards, right? And if they end up destroying it somehow, like after you activate this card from your hand, then you'll have no cards on the field. Your opponent will have to get rid of everything, right? So yeah, those are some good cards for going second. There's probably some other options that are good too for going second, but for the most part, those are some of the top tier cards you're going to need for getting over the, I should say, you know, the higher ranks in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But this is GamerZero, and I hope y'all enjoyed my deck profile. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you like this deck, if you like the new Infinitrack support, and if you feel that, you know, this deck is good, or if this deck is fun, or if you have any suggestions or comments, or even combos for this deck, cards that I don't have or don't include, let me know in the comments. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you do like the video, and if you do like my content, subscribe for more, you know what I mean? And don't forget to hit that notification bell either, so you know when I put out my next video. So yeah, I'm signing out, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a great day or a great night. Take care. Peace out. Deuces.